Well, good morning. It's Caroline Stevens, Seeking the Truth. Welcome to another food video. This is part 3. In my last food video, part 2, you may recall I covered the potential problems we've got in the agricultural industry in the UK, especially in relation to livestock farming. I also looked at the potential problems of food imports on a no-deal Brexit and the United Nations concerns, I'll put it in inverted commas, of world food poverty. Well, are you aware that the UK and EU are currently battling over bratwurst, burgers and other meat products as a potential trade ban looms ahead of the end of the Brexit transition period? Well, last-minute talks are underway to avoid a two-way embargo on uncooked prepared meat products, which the EU regulations state cannot be imported into the bloc unless frozen to minus 18 degrees Celsius. So how is that going to affect us? Well, if an agreement is not reached, Irish sausages and German bratwurst could disappear from the shelves of British supermarkets early next year. Under current rules, such products, as well as others, including mince, would not be allowed to enter Northern Ireland from Great Britain from January the 1st. However, the UK has warned it could introduce a reciprocal ban on Irish exports to the British mainland if a resolution is not reached. And that was reported in the Times. Now, Britain will be treated as a non-EU country after the end of this year, as per the terms of the withdrawal agreement, but Northern Ireland will maintain EU food safety rules in order to prevent that hard border with the Republic of Ireland. Now, tens of millions of pounds worth of meat will be threatened and the supply chain disrupted if a deal cannot be reached to allow fresh or chilled meat products to travel from Britain to Northern Ireland. We're taking back control, aren't we? Talks are ongoing to try and resolve the issue, which Ireland's Agricultural Minister Charlie McConalogue has described as concerning. I guess they must have been saying this for weeks, and now of course it's just been reported in the newspapers. Okay, so far so bad. Well, let's look globally now. According to the World Economic Forum's A Great Reset Plan, it's for the big food benefits industry, not the people, says an article produced yesterday. The World Economic Forum's The Great Reset includes a plan to transform the global food and agricultural industries and our human diet, saying that it will reduce food scarcity, hunger and disease. Because remember, in part 2, lots and lots of people around the world are going undernourished and starving. There is famine around this world. And because we are one global nation, one world, one planet, run by the New World Order, what happens now in other countries will have ramifications for us here in the UK. So they're looking at reducing food scarcity, they say, hunger and disease, and even mitigate climate change. However, a closer look at the corporations and think tanks that the World Economic Forum is linking into and partnering with, they're basically ushering in a global transformation. And this suggests that the real motive is going to be tighter corporate control over the food system. Yes, that's our food system. Remember, just because we've signed a withdrawal agreement with the EU, we are going into the New World Order world. So the globalists want us, well, they want total control over the food that we eat, and using as a reason or an excuse climate change. And no country, remember the Sustainable Development Goals include no country must be left behind. So they're going to use technological solutions to do this. We know where this is going. So the Great Reset is about multinational corporate stakeholders at the World Economic Forum controlling as many elements of planetary life as they possibly can. And that's from the digital data humans produce to each morsel of food we eat. Now, the World Economic Forum describes itself as the global platform for public-private cooperation, global communism really, that creates partnerships between corporations, politicians, because they're pushing it through, intellectuals, because they generally don't know what they're talking about, but there'll be lots of academics at universities that are getting paid big sums. Have you not noticed that when people are talking about Brexit and they go to a university, the person they're interviewing is often not from these shores? So what would they know about how British people feel? Because they're living in the ivory towers of universities. Right, so they're pushing this agenda, the cooperation between corporations, politicians, intellectuals, scientists, and other leaders of society to define, discuss, and advance key issues on the global agenda. It doesn't say everywhere apart from the UK. It says the global agenda. Now, according to WEF's founder and executive chairman, who you know his name, Klaus Schwab, the forum is guided by the goal of positioning private corporations as the trustees of society. And they're going to address social and environmental challenges. The WEF's plans for the reset of our food and agriculture includes projects and strategic partnerships that favour genetically modified organisms, lab-made proteins and pharmaceuticals and industrial chemicals as sustainable solutions to food and health issues. Gosh, it might be better to starve, really. WEF has promoted and partnered with an organisation called EAT Forum. EAT Forum describes itself as a Davos for food that plans to add value to business and industry and set the political agenda. EAT was co-founded by Wellcome Trust, which was established with funds from GlaxoSmithKline, which still, believe it or not, has strategic partnerships with that particular drug maker. EAT collaborates with nearly 40 city governments in Europe, Africa, Asia, North America, South America, and Australia. The organisation also assists the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, in creating new dietary guidelines and sustainable development initiatives. Can't wait. Each network interacts closely with imitation meat companies, including Impossible Foods and other biotech companies that aim to replace wholesome, nutritious foods with genetically modified lab food, framing it as healthy and sustainable. So Impossible Foods was initially co-funded by Google, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates. Recent lab results showed the company's limitation meat contained glyphosate levels 11 times higher than its closest competitor. 11 times higher, gosh. Eat's biggest initiative is called Fresh. That's capital F, capital R, then little e, then capital S, and then capital H. Being dishonestly honest, I think. There seems to be a trend with this dishonestly honest, which the organisation describes as an effort to drive the transformation of the food system. The project's partners include Bayer, Cargill, Syngenta, Unilever, and even tech giant Google. Eat developed what it refers to as the planetary health diet, which the WEF champions as the sustainable dietary solution of the future. But according to a professor, it's a diet that's supposed to replace everything else. The diet aims to cut the meat and dairy intake of the global population by as much as 90% in some cases and replace it with lab-made foods, cereals and oil, he said. 90% of our food to be lab food. And when I say 90%, the elites will be having proper food. So it could be higher than 90%. So this professor said, Eat's proposed diet is not about nutrition at all. It's about big business and it's about a corporate takeover of the entire food system. And finally, the food supply isn't going to get any easier because there's some latest news on highly contagious and deadly form of avian influenza, which is currently spreading throughout Europe, putting the poultry industry on alert. And of course, remember, we've had some previous outbreaks in mind which saw tens of millions of birds culled and significant economic losses being made. So the disease, commonly called bird flu, has been found in France, the Netherlands, Germany, Britain, Belgium, Denmark, Ireland, Sweden, and for the first time this week in Croatia, Slovenia, and Poland, after severely hitting Russia, Kazakhstan, and Israel. The vast majority of cases are in migrating wild birds, but outbreaks have been reported on farms, leading to the death or culling of at least 1.6 million chickens and ducks so far around the region. In the Netherlands, Europe's largest exporter of chicken meat and eggs, nearly 500,000 chickens have died or were culled due to the virus this autumn, and over 900,000 hens died on one single farm in Poland this week. Wow, roll on 2021. I can hardly wait. Let me just remind you how important it is to look out for logos. These corporates, these New World Order organizations, a lot of them have the laurels. This laurels. So look out. I know there's various corporates out there that you've probably never even considered they've been using these laurels. They use these laurels for a reason. This is New World Order. This is the Antichrist. This is about Apollyon, the Destroyer. So they're telling us what they think of us, to be perfectly honest, and how they're going to treat us. Okay, so that's that. That was part 3 of this recent update on food, especially in the UK, because of the Brexit situation. The transition period is coming to an end at the end of December. So I'm going to sign off now, but at 1 o'clock this afternoon, I will be coming back on here and I will be talking about common purpose. You may recall I did two events about a common purpose meeting that was held in May on Zoom. I've got some updates for you on Common Purpose, and so hopefully I will see you here again at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and I hopefully will be doing an interview with Portugal at 10 o'clock tonight here again. So see you at 1 o'clock. Common Purpose. Caroline Stevens, seeking the truth, leaving no stone unturned.